Hey guys, welcome back to another brand new video. It is time for our week 2 predictions for the CDL. Real quick, what we're gonna do is we're gonna recap my predictions for week 1, what I got right, what I got wrong, and then we're gonna jump right into our week 2 predictions. So let's get started. First off, I don't know if you've tried this Coke like coffee thing. Wait, shit ain't sponsored. This Coke coffee thing, it's caramel flavored. I have very mixed reviews. I don't know if you've seen it at your stores or not, but it's very average. All right, first match was the Rocker versus the Thieves. I guess an upset by the Rocker. I was mistaken. I got that wrong. The LA Thieves ended up winning 3-1. I took Rocker 3-2 in that matchup. LA Thieves just really weren't caught slipping this weekend. I thought they were. It was a good job by the Thieves. They handed them a 3-1 L pretty handedly. Number 2, I got right. I got the prediction right, and I got the score right. Dallas in a 3-0. That was probably the easiest prediction of the weekend. I mean, Seattle just doesn't really match up with Dallas very well, so it just was a stomping kind of from start to finish. Next one, I got the game right. I got the score wrong. I took Optic in a 3-1. It was actually a 3-0 by Optic, but I'm going to give myself a check mark just because I got the winner right, not exactly the score right. I think the more important part is getting the winner right. So I took Optic into 3-1. They did a little better than that. I thought Legion would take an S&D maybe, but it didn't quite happen. I think it was like a 6-2 S&D, so it wasn't very close. But Optic did obviously slay out the respawns, just a more powerful team, better gun skills. So Optic 3-0 over the Legion. Next matchup was the FaZe, Atlanta FaZe versus the Los Angeles Guerrillas. I took FaZe in a 3-1, I believe, and they actually 3-0'd them, but at least I got the winner right. I thought Guerrillas would be able to steal an S&D. I know Atlanta is good at S&D, but I thought Guerrillas would be able to sneak one map out of them. Not quite, though. I think it was a close S&D, though. I don't think it was I think it was 6-4 S&D, so not quite, but it was worth a shot. But FaZe 3-0 victory over LA. All right, and the Guerrillas turned around and played right back on Saturday. I think I took Guerrillas in a 3-1 over the Legion. I think it was a 3-2 actually, but I got the winner right. Once again, now we're on a 4-4 streak. I'm 4-1 so far in my predictions, looking pretty good. But the Guerrillas, I think they went up 2-0, and then I think I went all the way to map 5. So Guerrillas almost threw it away, but not quite. So good job with the Guerrillas. And then the next one up was Mutineers and Ultra. This is one I completely got wrong. I was super confident in a Mutineers 3-1, and it was actually reverse. The Ultra won 3-1. Everyone and their grandma took the Mutineers in this game, and Toronto showed up, and I think it was the second biggest upset of the weekend. There's one more coming here, but it was a great job by Toronto. I mean, they really just had him from start to finish. I was shocked by the outcome. All right, next one was LA Thieves versus the New York Subliners. I took LA in a 3-0 over the Subliners, and that's exactly what happened. So I got a little extra bonus point for that one. The Thieves did win 3-0. It was kind of a weird start. There was some restart with the map 1 and whatnot. It was a 3-0, but these maps were all insanely close. You could play this game tomorrow, and the Subliners could have won 3-0. It was very close maps, but for my predictions, I'm glad the Thieves won 3-0. But a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. Game, I'm not going to lie, I'm really proud of myself. I got the game and the score right. I took the Surge in an upset 3-2, and that's exactly what happened. Surge went up 2-0 in the series, almost threw it away. Went to map 5, but the Surge did close it out. I think they knew I took them 3-2, but they closed out the S&D 6-2. They did amazing. They won they didn't win one of each game up, but they won both S&Ds. And that's a big thing. You're gonna play sometimes 2 S&Ds, and if you can win your S&Ds, that's a big deal. Then you only have to steal 1 respawn, which is exactly what they did in map 1. So Surge with a 3-2 victory. That's exactly what I predicted. And hands down, the biggest upset of the weekend. I thought the Empire were gonna win 3-1 or 3-2, and the Rocker actually snuck it out with a 3-2 upset over Empire. I watched it. It was incredible. The Rocker, you kind of just tell they were in it, and they just had to get that one little shot in to get over the top and take the victory, and they snuck it out. I think they took both S&Ds and a control. Great job to Minnesota. I'm sure that's what their game plan was, and they executed it perfectly. And this was my coin toss matchup. I took Optic in a 3-2, and FaZe won 3-2. So I started out hot in my predictions and didn't end too hot, but you know, you win some, you lose some. But that match was really close. But Optic threw away the S&Ds. I mean, they lost 6-0 and 6-1 in the S&Ds. It was pitiful. Honestly, they should have closed it out in 4 though. Obizi got a massive 3-piece on map 4 to give them the victory. I mean, they barely won map 4, 250 to 245, but once they got to the second S&D, it was over from there. All right, now that we've got the recap done, let's jump right into our week 2 predictions. This is no one's home series. This is just a regular week. First matchup, we had the Gorillas versus the Mutineers, and now that we have some games in the books, the Gorillas did have some decent upside. They did get a win on their opening weekend. They did lose to FaZe, but Florida, I don't know, they didn't look great. I feel like they're kind of snowball. I'm gonna take LA. I think in a 3-1 victory over the Mutineers. I think the Mutineers will either sneak S&D or control. But right now, with how LA's playing, I don't think they'll lose a hard point. So I'm going to take LA in a 3-1 with them winning both hard points. All right, in the second matchup on Thursday, we have the Toronto Ultra versus Chicago Optic. Toronto, you know, they were impressive last week. They did only play 1 match, so you know, you only got a bit of a teaser from them. But they are a little bit better than I thought they were going to be. But as for Chicago Optic, I mean, they kind of got embarrassed in those S&Ds. But when they did play Respawn, I don't think they lost a single Respawn all weekend. Oh no, they lost 1 hard point, barely. So I don't think this matchup is going to be very close. I think Chicago is really going to have to tighten it up, and I think they will. I'm going to take Optic in a 3-0 over Ultra. I think they're really going to put in the work this week, and I don't see them losing a hard point to them. I could see an S&D, but I'm going to go with a 3-0. All right, and for the Friday matchup, we get the Seattle Surge versus the Minnesota Rocker. Both teams, I believe, are 1-1. They both played Dallas. One beat Dallas, one lost to Dallas. But I think Minnesota's going to be riding high after that win. I mean, Seattle is, you know, looking not too bad if they did beat London, but I think Minnesota's going to be riding high, and they're going to continue that into this weekend. I'm going to take Minnesota in a 3-0 over Seattle Surge. The next matchup, we got the Subliners versus the Royal Ravens. I think even though the Subliners did get 3-0'd and they only played 1 match, it wasn't a bad 3-0. All 3 maps were really close, and, you know, you flip it around, you flip a coin, they could have won at that time. London, I believe they only played 1 match. Not 100% sure, but they did lose to Seattle. They could have had a chance for the reverse sweep, but it didn't have it. And I think with how close the games were for New York last week, I think this is their game that they're going to pick up their first win on the season. I'm going to take Subliners in like a 3-2 or a 3-1 over London. All right, down to the bottom left, Saturday, we've got London versus Dallas. I have no questions about Dallas. Dallas, I do believe, is going to win this matchup. After them losing to Minnesota, I don't see them losing to London, especially I think London's going to lose on Friday. They lost last week. I think it's going to continue. I'm going to take Dallas in a 3-0 over London. All right, now we have Gorillas versus Optic. I feel like the same way about this as I feel about the Ultra game. They could sneak an S&D, but right now I just don't see them losing a respawn, a control, or a hard point. I'm going to take Optic in a 3-0 over the Gorillas on this one. I just think they're going to have a really strong week, especially if they want to keep up with, I think it's the Thieves they have in their division. The Thieves won both their last week, and Optic knows they got to keep up with them after they lost to FaZe. So I'm going to take Optic in a 3-0. Toronto Ultra versus Atlanta FaZe. Once again, I think Toronto's looking hot, but Atlanta's going to be riding high after they beat Optic 3-2 that weekend. I just can't see them losing to Toronto. I would love to see another upset because, I mean, I just love upsets, but this is not going to be my predicted upset of the week. I'm going to take Atlanta. I'm going to say in a 3-1. I do believe Toronto can win a map, but I just don't see them winning the series. Go down to Sunday here. Mutineers have had some tough matchups, but I think, actually, you know, the matchups haven't been too tough, but I think this is the one they're going to win. I just can't put much stock in Paris right now. They had a close one against LA, but I think that's as good as it's going to get for them. I just can't see them winning a series right now. I'm going to take Florida to get their first win of the season at a 3-1. I think this is where they're going to have to win some series if they don't want to fall too far behind, because I think at this point in my predictions they're 0-2 or 0-3. I think this is the one that, like, hey, this is a lesser team. You got to win this one. I think they will. I'm going to take Florida in probably a 3-1. Seattle Surge, LA Thieves. I've got to say, the Seattle Surge have had some really tough starting competition this season. It hasn't been easy for them, but if they can kind of get through this at a decent record, then they can have the lesser competition later. But they've had to play, at this point, Minnesota. They're going to play LA. They've played Dallas. I think the only matchup they haven't played is London, which still, they aren't a terrible team. So I don't see them winning here, though. I'm going to say LA is going to win. They went 2-0 last week, and they look great in those. I'm going to take them again to win. I'm going to say in a 3-0 as well. It seems like when Seattle does go down, they go down kind of easy, and I don't like to say that, but that's kind of how it seems like. So I'm going to take LA to win this, and it's just a tough start for Seattle, but I think they can rebound. They just got to know that they play tough competition, and the easier ones will be up sooner. Okay, last matchup of the week, we've got the New York Sublime versus the Minnesota Rocker. Once again, I think New York's going to get their first win, but I just can't see them beating Minnesota right now. Minnesota, in my eyes, I think right now is a top 3 team, especially after them beating Dallas. So I just can't see them losing to London. I mean, to New York here. I don't think it'll be a 3-0 though. I think New York is good enough to win a map here. Maybe even 2. But I'm going to take Minnesota to win in a 3-1, maybe a 3-2 fashion. But Minnesota is looking great, and that's how they're going to continue playing. So those are my week 2 predictions. And if you want to join me in my private leaderboard where you can do your pick'ems, I will leave a link to that down below. But if we're going to go over here, I'm going to lock in my predictions. Here you can see my predictions for last week. You see I got 0 points because I got the game wrong, I got the winner wrong, and I got the score wrong. But you can see here how I got the score right and the winner right, and you get points. And we have like a leaderboard where you can go ahead and you can lock in your predictions and kind of play alongside me and see if you can do better than me. This is a global leaderboard with everybody. So the top people got 30 points. I got 19, so I ranked a little above 2,000. But if you want to join my private leaderboard, the ID is please play because there's only 2 of us, and the password is 1234. So if you want to join, go ahead and join, make your picks. But like I said, this is just me and my brother, and you can kind of see how the point system works. All right, so here are my predictions for this week. You can kind of just fill it out and fill them in, and I'm going to hit my save predictions, and that is going to lock you in for whatever leaderboards you want to be competing in. But anyways, guys, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Like I said, I'm doing these once a week because you know, the season goes on every week. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure if you want to join my private leaderboard, or if you have any questions about it, make sure to drop a comment. I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want more of me, make sure to follow my Twitter down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.